So Gotham Season 5 Episode 10 gave us quite a few things. Bane, the actual arrival of Bane, the actual reveal of Theresa Walker, which isn't mega surprising, and quite a few other things. But guys, we have to wait literally 4 weeks until the next episode of Gotham. So let's break down Episode 10, I Am Bane. What is up, Gothamites? Welcome to a brand new Gotham Season 5 Episode 10 breakdown of I Am Bane. So this episode, it was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like amazing, but what I did really enjoy about it was Shane West's Bane. You guys, this is nothing new. I like the suit. Not everyone loves the suit. When it first came out, it definitely was very controversial. But I feel like since the I Am Bane trailer, I saw a lot of comments saying, oh wow, I really like it now. The voice is great and the suit is growing on me and everything like that. So when we actually saw Bane in motion this episode, on the sheen of the screen, as I like to say, it was pretty awesome. And also, you know, we got Theresa Walker's actual reveal as Nyssa Al Ghul. Not mega surprising there, but you know, we'll get into that when that comes in the breakdown of this review, this episode, sorry. I'm trying to think of other things from the top of my head which were pretty cool. Like, well, we got that Alfred's thing, and I know a lot of people were worried about Alfred, you know, dying or something. It's like, really? But let's address the big elephant in the room. Why the hell is Gotham on break, Boba? Like, why is it on like a month break? I think it's coming back April 16th. And then I think that makes the finale 25th or 26th. I can't remember when they said the finale was going to be. But essentially, you know, Gotham isn't the only show suffering from this. It happens like every year, if I remember correctly. You know, for example, The Flash is on break for a month now as well. So, you know, it does suck. But, you know, what are we going to do about it? But you can be sure to know that I'll be doing, you know, some Gotham videos in the meantime. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Gotham videos. And of course, Gothamites, like this video if you do go on to enjoy it. It really does help out the channel, and it shows your support, and I really appreciate it. So let's get straight into this review, and that is with Eduardo waking up on a table. What I really liked about this scene is they have mentioned Penadura before, but you know, they go into it again. I think he got mentioned a couple of times throughout this episode, which made me happy, because you know, I wasn't sure at the beginning how they were going to morph Bane's origin into Gotham. I thought it was a character whose origin Gotham couldn't do their Gotham thing with. Gotham being quite famous or infamous, should I say, I don't know what way around, for changing traditional kind of character backgrounds. I didn't think they could do that with Bane, but you know, they've done it better than what I thought they would. So Theresa Walker mentions her promise to him and Penadura to give him a true purpose and the strength to see it through. Bane of the unjust, Bane of the corrupt, Bane of all of those who oppose us. Really cool line there. And we saw Eduardo's transformation. Oh, but guess what? Nothing we haven't really seen before, because we saw all of that in the trailer. I'm not digging at the trailers in the sense of, you know, they're really cool, but this is what I mean. In those cinematic trailers, you do practically see more or less everything. So as I said, once again, with the final 2 hype trailers coming our way, there's going to be one for the end of No Man's Land, I think, and then one for the finale, 10-year time jump. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch them. But what else is new in Gotham, guys? Reunification Day is today. So that all started off with the General arriving in Gotham. They're testing the toxicity of the chemicals in the water. Like, that's one of the few components they need to sort out. Obviously, like, there's a crime and everything in Gotham. But I think, you know, as they put it themselves, Jim's green zone stretches to like every mile of the corner of the city, whatever. But the last thing that they kind of do need to overcome now is essentially the Jeremiah's toxins. You know, it's chemicals that were sorted out by Lucius Fox's filters or whatever. But that is when Eduardo Dorrance, no, screw that name now. He doesn't like being called Eduardo anymore. Bane arrives in that truck or lorry, whatever you want to call it. And this was pretty cool. This was a pretty cool scene because he just literally busts in when they were testing, and, you know, when the reunification is essentially beginning. And I just thought, you freaking tank. He jumps out of that, like, truck, and it's just like the whole ground almost quaked when he landed. Bruce and Jim get captured, and this is where they are taken to the part of the episode where Nyssa, well, I guess I can say Nyssa Al Ghul, wants to question them and basically reveal her plan and everything like that, because it links back to the last season. On the other side of things, the submarine is built, and Barbara wants to get off on that. I found one thing I want to say is Barbara, Penguin, and Riddler's scenes this episode were freaking hilarious. I also really liked Alfred and Selena in this episode. So we got that little moment with the reunification happening, and this is what Alfred said: a new Wayne Manor must follow. And I love how Selena kind of mentions, oh, is it gonna be like the old one? And it's just like insinuating, well, low-key foreshadowing that no. When the new one gets built, it's gonna be built with like the Batcave, like in the freaking clock and all of that stuff, you know, I assume. So going back to when Bane captured Jim and Bruce, I really like that scene between Bane. Yet again, this scene was I feel like Shane West did a very, very good job at showing it how intimidating Bane is. Like, he really does feel like Bane in this world. He really, really does, especially with, as I keep saying, imagine this like 15 years in the future, 5 years into the Batman's career and stuff like that. This guy will be even more so who you love if you're a big Bane, you know, character lover. But, you know, when he was talking about Peñadura guards playing games and how they bury you alive and then take bets on if you can dig your way out, Eduardo was the champion of that. But to like overcome that, he had to become something other than human. And I just really liked this. He referred to himself as the champion. It's not like he was in Peñadura from when he was born. So they've changed it up that way. But I like how Gotham have still put the effort in to convey that even though they've changed things up like they do, they haven't trashed everything. He had a really hard time to the point where he changed so much in Peñadura that it made him something else. But that is where Jim met Walker for the first time properly, and of course he recognized her voice because he has been in communication with her before, I believe, over that radio earlier on in the season. Now this was pretty interesting because, you know, she basically reveals more or less everything over the course of the conversations here with Bruce and Jim. So everything she has done here is about punishing Gotham for the sins of Bruce Wayne. Now, if you guys have been watching my video for the longest time, you know, this season, you will know that I've been saying that Theresa Walker, especially paired with Bane, has been a very obvious thing that they've been doing, and none other than it is Nyssa Al Ghul, and she reveals that in this episode. So I quite liked how, you know, her whole entire thing is to get back at Bruce. I was intrigued as to what her relationship was like with, you know, the demon himself, Ra's al Ghul. And it does turn out that, you know, she is obviously gutted over her father's death, and she is doing this all to carry on her father's mission. So she was torturing Bruce through seeing Jim get beat to death. That was a cool way of doing it in the sense that she wanted Bruce to figure out exactly who she was. I thought the acting in the scene was like really good as well. I think the actress name is Jamie Murray? Jamie? I'm just gonna say Jamie. It might be pronounced differently. But I've seen her in a couple of other things like the originals, and I'm pretty sure other things as well before that. And she is a good actress, and yeah, she conveyed across her emotion over the anger and the rage and the loss of her father, Ra's al Ghul, in this scene and this episode really very well. And it made me believe that, yeah, she's like, screw Gotham, screw everything, I'm going to go ahead and do this. But anyway, also I found other things that Nyssa said was very interesting. For example, how the League of Shadows is everywhere. Did you think my father's mission would die with him? Humankind will be purged of weakness. So it's nice to know that the League of Ladies, for example, with Barbara, wasn't the only thing that was left. And we'll talk about them a little bit later because that didn't end so well for them. But the League of Shadows are everywhere. It's nice to know that in this world, they are kind of still all powerful. It makes me think, and I wrote down in my notes as well, like, I wonder what Talia is up to, like what the heck's going on with her. Not that I don't think we'll ever get that answer, and, you know, it's just seriously not being thought of. But, you know, it was also interesting, as predicted as well. The reason why they go after Barbara is because, well, she literally gave Bruce a helping hand in stabbing Ra's. The only thing I will say is a little bit annoying to me how Bane is such a tool. Like, I do get it in the story. Like, it's kind of what they did literally in The Dark Knight Rises. And that's what annoyed a lot of people. Like, Bane's meant to be this amazing military kind of tactician, like independent badass kind of person. And look, he's just, you know, this person's biatch, basically. And it's the same thing in Gotham. But I do get the underlying story here. Like, this guy was given a purpose after his humanity was broken in Peñadura. So he feels probably like he owes everything to this woman. So I do get that. It would just be nice if they maybe made something kind of new in Gotham rather than mimicking this story. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of that. I'm not saying it's bad because I am enjoying it. And I'm enjoying Nyssa and stuff like that. But I feel like it's just unoriginal. Now, this is where Nyssa also discusses with Bruce this kind of military secret known as Special Order 386, but we'll talk about that a little bit later because, yeah, that's the way the episode ended on a very interesting note. It was really, 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 really cool seeing Bruce burn that rope and take out the soldiers. That was badass. Like, it didn't take a massive genius to figure out how to be able to do that, so I'm not going to give it too much kudos and be like, oh, what a Batman moment, but it wasn't like a massive intellectual Batman moment, but it was still badass. Now, of course, basically like what we've seen before in all the promos is that Barbara was giving birth. This was very funny to see, and also, interestingly enough, Lee and Ed bump into each other, I think for the first time, and all that was addressed with that storyline, and I don't necessarily blame it because of this, because it's like, well, what are you really going to do? Just go into a whole spin-off thing about them confronting, stabbing each other, but they just kind of left it with Ed saying, you know, for the record, you stabbed me first. And it made me laugh. You know, this is what I mean with only half a season. Like, you can only shove so much stuff into it. Maybe if we had another half of a season, they may have done some more stuff with Lee and Ed. But, you know, that was that. Just wanted to chuck that in there. But as I said, this was hilarious. Like, Penguin pointing the gun at the baby. And that was just a joke, obviously. But there was just stuff like that scattered throughout this episode with those three. And I just feel like it was perfect. Like, this is Gotham's comedy at its very best, especially with these characters. I bet they loved filming these scenes together as well. So obviously this is where Bane arrived at the hospital because he was doing what Nyssa wanted, to go after Barbara, and Barbara was shooting people down whilst giving birth at the same time. But I did like that moment where Barbara kind of looked like a little bit vulnerable, and she was talking with Lee about, you know, do you really think that Captain James Gordon will let a criminal raise his kid? So I do get, and I felt like this scene was quite important to give context to, and it was kind of obvious before anyway, as to why she's like, oh yeah, I'm not letting James Gordon near the kid or whatever, but because she's so scared. I think Barbara is changing, and we have seen that all season, and she has done plenty of bad things before. You can't excuse that, but I think she's so scared because she knows she won't be like that again, but she doesn't want to be judged for her past stuff, which she can be, but, you know, she's so scared about raising the kid and it getting taken away, when she knows she's not going to be a danger to it. And at last, the baby is born, and, you know, I found it funny where they said the line, you know, oh, I guess I'm going to have to figure out what to call you. It's like, well, you call it something totally unoriginal. You call it Barbara after yourself. As I said, it'd be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool if Barbara died for this baby, but there are some things out there on the interwebs that indicate otherwise. So it makes me think she calls her own kid Barbara. Sure, people do call their kids after themselves, like Jimmy, and then like Jimmy the Second. But I don't know, man. Like, it would just be so much better if Barbara dies for this baby, and Jim, you know, it makes perfect sense as well. This whole season, like, he's been like, oh, I don't know about Barbara, and anyone would, because she's been Barbara over the past 5 seasons. We all know what she's been like. But when she dies, Barbara's like, you know what? I'm dedicating this kid to the mother who she was going to be, this changed person, but she died. So if she is alive, and she just got, this is such a silly gripe maybe for some of you, and myself, but, you know, just, I don't know, calling the baby Barbara, if Barbara is still alive, is a bit lame, but it would have been better to kill her. I'm just saying. Not a Barbara hater. It would just be a perfect end to Barbara's arc, I think, even. And guys, this is where we got Alfred versus Bane. He runs him the F over, which was hilarious. Bane just gets back up as if like he just got pushed over by a kid or something. Alfred and Selina essentially get wrecked, and his back gets broken. Now, I think there are some people out there who are literally thinking Alfred is going to die. I'm not even going to talk about that, but, you know, it was pretty sad seeing Selina, like, go over to him, like, crawling across the floor, and that was emotional because, you know, Gotham have obviously done so much development with Selina, Bruce, and Alfred, that, you know, I completely felt that relationship in that moment and the fear of losing Alfred for this character. Now, earlier I mentioned the League of Ladies. Nyssa arrives at the bar, freaking the Sirens Bar, with Barbara and baby Barbara, and you know, she gets right up to the baby, even like freaking stroking its baby head, and yeah, all the League of Ladies are dead. I guess they just wanted to purge that storyline, and really, for Nyssa's mind, I think they're just like, well, what a load of deserters. They deserted my father's mission. If you remember last season, they all went to Barbara and they're like, oh, you are the true holder of the demon's head. And lastly, guys, Order 386 commences, and I'm pretty sure that's the government, which is crazy to think about. The general calls in the order. A load of choppers are coming in, blowing the F out of a part of Gotham. I was actually quite surprised at this, that they're doing that. But, you know, this was quite a cool ending because it's just even more destruction to Gotham, even more stuff that will probably influence Bruce to go away. And I do want to mention another thing as well. I said, like, something about Alfred's back getting broken and how will that impact the storyline. And some of you pointed out how that will probably influence Bruce leave and go away and develop into the Batman over 10 years and get trained, and it will just influence his decision to leave Gotham and return in the 10-year time jump. And I completely agree with that. So that is one thing that, you know, even though it's like, why break Alfred's back, Bruce has been talking about recently in that Ivy episode, especially when he went on a date with Selena, that maybe he would do that, and everything, you know, with him being in Gotham seems to go down when he's there. Now Alfred's back is broken. It's probably going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back for him. But he's just going to stick around for one more episode, like we see in the promo for not next week's episode, sorry to trigger people, 4 weeks time, where he's like in like a kind of body armor, you know, suit and a few other gadgets to finally stop Bane. But aside from that, everybody, that is this video. That is my review. Those are my thoughts on this episode. As I said, overall, like, it's pretty good. Sure, this season, as I said, feels a bit rushed. Like, Bane just comes in and it's like already going to be over I did it again. Not next week, but in 4 weeks' time. But you know, I'm enjoying it. I personally enjoy Shane West's Bane. The Nyssa Al Ghul storyline's a little bit unoriginal, but like, it's still kind of cool. It makes sense with Gotham's storyline in terms of what they did last year with the Demon's Head himself. Barbara's storyline, as I said, I would like her to die so the baby's called Barbara. If they don't do that, then I think my only opinion there is that it would be better served story and for that character if she would die. Other than that, you know, things are going okay and smoothly. So I'd love to know your thoughts on all of my thoughts down in the comments below, guys. Do you agree with anything I said? Do you like Bane's proper introduction this episode? You know, this is the first time we actually see Eduardo become Bane and in the suit for the whole episode. But other than that, subscribe if you're brand new. Like this video if you didn't enjoy it. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Now, there will be a Gotham video next week, don't worry. But the review won't be for 4 weeks. Prime Fist.